Hey, good afternoon, Manchester, New Hampshire, and all the surrounding areas. I'm a little bit awkward here because I'm alone. My guest that was going to come on has some physical issues that she couldn't come on with, and we were going to talk about mental health. But now we can do it by ourselves, and then I asked a few other people to come on. I'm not mentioning names, but one of them declined, and that's okay too. However, what I am going to do is talk about different things. And if you want to give me a call, area code 603 640 3091. Give me a call and we can talk about whatever you want to talk about. We're going to play it by ear. Just see what happens, you know. Hopefully, my very good friend, the Honorable Gary Harper, will come on at 5 o'clock. So we're going to wing it. We're going to have a good time anyways. And as long as my makeup don't run and all that stuff, you know. But anyway, and it's a little chilly out here, but that's okay. When chilly outside, I bet our hearts are warm inside. What do you think? You know, one of the things that I get a lot of things I make a lot of people upset about is because when I express my opinions on Facebook. Some like them, some don't, and that's okay, you know. One thing that we have to stop doing, each political party or persons we all have to learn how to get along with each other. Not saying, well, this one's better than that one's better than this one. Because we're all the universal spirits people. We all should be talking about love, Christmas. And what is Christmas to a lot of people? To some people, it's just another day. Some people are celebrating it with family reunions and family unions, which I think is important. So if I ramble on, I apologize. But anyway, one of my main two things, concerns are the homeless people in Manchester and our education. What can we do to help improve the education in this? How can we help the teachers to help the students? How can we make it more interesting for the students to want to go to school? I'm not going to talk about one of the personal feelings that one has for one person, one has for another person. When I'm going to talk about how can we fix the education. Do we need more money to put into the school funding? Do we need to have more teachers? What do we need to improve our education in Manchester? You know, it's pretty discouraging when you hear about how the ratings here are not that high. It's pretty discouraging when you find out that students don't want to go to school. And that, to me, that's so, wrong. Education is so important. Whether you're from another country, whether you're from another city, whether you're from another town, we need to have the young children going to school. It saddens me when I hear that they're not going or they don't want to go to school. Should we do online education? What do you think? Should we, have them stay at home and teaching while they're home with computers? Or should we have private teachers going in to supervise their homeschooling? What are your thoughts? Give me a call. And we gotta fix this. We gotta find a way to stop all the bickering and find a way to make the education, system in Manchester a much better place. Two people that I know of actually are moving out of Manchester because of the education. That breaks my heart. I love Manchester, and I sincerely hope other people do too. We've elected a school board. committee, and hopefully they will look into see how can we improve our education. There's a lot of stuff going on Facebook I'm not even interested in and don't want to be. Time to let it go. There's a lot of things in the city that are going on that it's time to let go of. But mainly, homeless. What can we do as citizens in this beautiful city to help improve the homeless people's lives without having them camping out on Elm Street where people do not want to come down because they're discouraged about the way it looks. Okay? They're really, and I'm hoping that, hang on, maybe I'll have somebody coming in. Who knows? Oh. And I've invited a couple of people, and I'm not going to mention names. It's not up to me. But I would, one thing that I want people to look at is the schools are beautiful on the outside. I've never been to the inside, don't want to. I don't want to go on the inside of the schools because it's not my territory. I'm not a school board member, or I'm not a teacher or an alderman or whatever. I no longer have a child or grandchild in the school system, but I would love to see other kids getting a good education. Education is only as good as the teacher presents it. And education is only as good as the material that they are given in order to teach, whether it's math, history, civics, whatever they want to teach. Education is only that good. The homeless people are my main concern. It's cold out there, people. Where are these people that are homeless now that they don't have that little sanctuary down by the river anymore? Where are they going? They're going here on Elm Street. Is there a lot of places that will accept them? The shelter, my understanding, is full. So where are they going to hide? If they go to the park, they're going to get in trouble. If they go here, they're going to get in trouble. Where can they go? You may have an answer to that. Give us a call. 640-3091. When Mary, my friend Bishop Paul, and Scott and I were walking down on Elm Street, we were seeing these people that were walking down the street. One was literally laying on the ground. I actually thought he was dying or whatever. We couldn't wake him up. I called 911, and they really did come very quickly. I got to say that, but they went to the wrong address. And one of the ladies there was going to pour water on him. So that was kind of discouraging. We had to tell him no, So that was pretty. That was pretty discouraging, And then the people, folks, I probably am one of you included too at times, that just walk by and ignore them. I'm not saying to give them money. And what I am saying is give them a smile. Maybe shake their hand. Maybe give them a hot coffee. Maybe do this or do that, It's a cold world out here. We've lost the sense of love and responsibility for each other. That's sad. We need to take a look in the mirror at ourselves and say, what did I do today that could help others? What could I do to help others? I'm just winging it, folks, just to tell you. Hopefully Mary will come in. But one thing we can do is smile, say hi, and be honest about it. Don't ignore them. It's easy to do that. But always remember, folks, it could be you, one paycheck away. Oh, no, this would never happen to me. I have a good job. I'm healthy. I have this. I have that. But you know what? Everything is just one step away. You may own your own home, you may do whatever you have, but you know what? That's all material. Things could happen where you could end up losing a lot of things. I've done it, and I start all over again. I'm not going to go into a detail about my life story because that gets boring. I've told it so many times. But each and every one of us have done it at one time. Many people have went away through school, or some kids. Drug is a big thing. Heroin. Oh my goodness. But it's not only heroin. It's crack, it's marijuana, all these other stuff. And so, no, it's not only that. People come home from the wars. Other people, not just the vets that are homeless, but there are people who have mental breakdowns. Or maybe there's someone who does not get a lucky break, as you want to call it, and that they have to lose their jobs or get an eviction notice and they have no money, no place to go. Some of them maybe because they were sick had no place to go as well. No. I get a message here, so I'll explain it later. But it's up to us. It's up to us to help one another. And God says that you are supposed to help mankind, one another, not turn your back on each other. I call it the spirit, but Gary and I had the same feeling. We should never turn our back on each other. When there is love, it can accomplish many things. Miracles happen every day. I have a person who has MS, but there's some kind of a drug that he used, and to this day, you would never know that he had MS. He's driving, he's walking, he's talking, he's doing everything that a normal person can do. There's always hope and belief in others. What are your plans for Christmas? Do you plan on celebrating it or making it very materialistic, or you plan on just maybe make your own, maybe make a gift, or maybe go out and say Merry Christmas to somebody, but maybe invite somebody that needs some help into your home and feeding them some dinner. That would be pretty awesome. Christmas is just around the corner. New Year's. What are your New Year's resolutions going to be? All working together as one cohesive spirit. Respecting who we don't have to agree who is running our country. We don't have to agree with the Congress people. We don't have to agree with the senators or whomever. The power. You don't have to agree with Trump, but I would say you should respect what he's trying to do. And my heart goes out and blessing for George Bush Sr., and our former president, who has since passed away. They had a memorial service for him. And we ask that everybody's having a moment of silence and blessings for him as well. We ask for everybody to remember what he has done, good or bad. I always find it interesting when they're alive how they can slam someone, but all of a sudden when they pass over to the other side, oh, this was like John McCain, or this was with President Hoover, or whomever, they will always find that's all that's good, wonderful things about it. But yet while they were alive, they were always talking about, oh, he did this or he did that. He was a member of the CIA director or whatever. It's interesting how all of a sudden the president become moderns, the U.S. senator becomes moderns, and yet while they're alive, it's a whole new ballgame. I'm not a politician. I just like to get people going. Frankly, I think I don't care one way or the other, as long as they keep above board in running our country. It's easy for me to stir people up. I'm kind of liking that, Trying to make people say, you know what? Yeah, let's learn how to be completely honest with each other. What is honesty? Someone can answer that? Give me a call, 640-3091. Okay? What is honesty in your heart? Have you had anything that you have not been honest about and need to go and confess to yourself or look in the mirror and talk to yourself to make amends with? It's up to you. Oh, I didn't know this was going to be this difficult, but that's okay. We'll struggle through it. We always do. The Spirit's on the side. So one of the things that I would ask everybody to do, think about what we can do to improve the planet. Whether it's here in America, whether it's through the whole world. What can we do? And I don't want to hear, get rid of Trump. Okay, I really don't. I personally like him, so that's one of the reasons why. But if you have an honest opinion on what you think about Trump, without name calling, I suppose you could say it. But if you really need to say get rid of Trump, I guess that's your opinion. And I also think that not one person, not one president has been perfect. Not one. Every single president has made mistakes. You never hear about the vice presidents. They're kind of, I guess, in the background, but you never hear anything about the vice presidents. Interesting. I'm not gonna say anything bad about the former first ladies or the present first ladies. That's not cool at all. On that, I'll just keep my opinions to myself. Everybody out here is a spiritual healer. Is a spiritual healer. Whether they're doing it by Reiki energy, chatting with someone, just being there for them, seeing what I do. One thing I do see about America, we got another year of a lot of letdowns, a lot of non-support, a lot more violence coming into play, a lot more eruption through volcanoes, through fires, through a lot of bad vibrations. The sad part is the more you try to push the gun rights on people and say, no, you shouldn't have a gun, it's going to become more hostile. The bad guys will get it. Then where will we be? There is some law that I think that people who have their guns that should be tested for at least 1 day of training for the proper use of using a gun? Absolutely. If I decided to get a gun, I would definitely go and have a training done to make sure I'm doing it right. You don't want to take all this into hand and take it for granted. I had an uncle, he was out hunting with his son, and the gun accidentally went off, and it shot my uncle through the hand. And back in the 50s, early 50s, late 40s, early 50s, they didn't have the treatments that they had today. The unfortunate part, the infection went into my uncle's heart, and he died from it. I've seen people who go hunting and think they shot a prize deer when it wasn't. It was like a bull at one time. People, if you don't know, hunting is okay as long as you know what you're doing and you're hunting. Make sure you're hunting for the right thing. Don't go shooting something and leave it or go have to chase it down because it might be too much work. If you're hunting for a survival, that's cool. You're hunting and so you can use the meat, whether it's a deer, whether I think they, bear, whatever they use everything. Don't just lie there and make the head a trophy on the wall. I'm actually having a spirit help me talk about this, folks. But just do know this, that as you go hunting, or if there are people out in the woods and they're skiing or they're ski mobiling, be aware of them while you're hunting. I personally don't know how long the hunting lasts, whether it's a month, a week, a day, or whatever, a year, whatever. I don't know. But just be aware of each other. Please don't drink while you're hunting. The same way when you're ski mobiling. Please do not drink while you're ski mobiling. It's just as bad as driving a car. I don't know. I would want to think that there is a law against drinking while you're ski mobiling. I don't know. I have been reading where New Hampshire is one of the safest places to live in the United States, which I think is pretty awesome. Because we do have a lot of laws that are free. We do have a lot of things that are great. Now, guns, the right to carry is a pretty important law. It's our Second Amendment right. The First Amendment is the freedom of speech, and I don't know the rest of it, but it's still a lot of freedom of religion, freedom of speech, and whatever. And yet I feel a lot of times our freedom of speech is being curtailed because we have to be very careful not to say things that are going to be hurting, whether it's truthful or not. Truthful, I think, is the main thing. We have to be truthful. But be careful how you word everything you say. I've had a lot of lessons on that in the last year and a half. This TV show that I have, I'm so grateful for it. I really am. The TV show has taught me how to be more respectful of others, number one. People don't have to agree with me, and that's okay. Number two, have more confidence in myself and not be afraid to be outspoken. I've asked some other politicians to come on, but they declined. But I am looking forward to Tim Baines coming on. We're going to be discussing some things like the homeless, and hopefully my alderman, whom I have great admiration for, Bill Berry, my alderman on Ward 10, and I believe Tim Baines is Ward 3, are going to be coming on, so I think that'll be an interesting show. We're going to be open for discussion, and we're going to show respect for everybody. I am not going to slam the Republicans, nor am I going to slam the Democrats. I just want people to be honest with their views, and I'll be honest with theirs. I like doing that kind of show. My show is community. Community. What is community? To me, community corner, to me, that is helping other people or talk about other things here, like whether someone has MS and wants to come on the show, or someone has some very upsetting issues with our city, with anybody, even me, and they want to come on the show and speak about it, but do not talk about slamming or name-calling, because that's not appropriate behavior, nor will I allow that. Mary and I do very well together on that. We both have an agreement on that. And I want to compliment Glenn for being outside playing Santa Claus to help raise money for a worthy cause through the Salvation Army, I think called like the Santa Fund. So Glenn, my compliments. Hope you do well. I also want you to know December is going to be pretty mild, but very cold. January and February. Make sure you got a lot of shoveling prepared to do. I'm sorry, let me rephrase it. I'm seeing a lot of heavy snow. The skiers will surely love it. People that do, what do they call it? Bob. Yeah. Hang on, folks. I know what they keep calling me here. I know one of, okay, what do they call it? Ice fishing? Yeah, they have a bog house or whatever. That's cool too. So the colder the weather gets, the better chance you have on the ice. Am I correct? I've never been ice fishing, so I don't know a lot about that. Uh, that way, and New Hampshire has a lot of varieties here. We have, like I said, I'm just winging it for right now. You know, probably if Gary doesn't come in, then I'll probably be leaving it at 5 after. Okay. Whew. But anyways, one of the things I do think about and I do want to talk about is the great um, miraculous healings that people have with the new medication that's coming out. Cancer, there's a lot of different cancer medication that can help people, but it's for a price. My concern is, what if you don't have insurance? Can you afford it? I see all now. I'm just flipping away here, folks. Sorry about that, but I'll make it. Can you afford it? Can you afford the medication? Can you afford that someone needs a new heart transplant? Yeah. Can you can you afford it when or do you if you have a heart condition? How are you allowed? Is there a if you don't have insurance, what happened to you? If you make too much money for the state to help you with it, or you don't make enough money to have an insurance policy, who pays for it, or do you get refused? Okay, I'm concerned about that. I have so many. My mind is going a mile a minute trying to figure out what to talk about, what subject you want to talk about. One of the biggest things I think we need to talk about is how can we communicate with each other without having this big uproar, rip-roaring fight with each other. How can the Democrats and the Republican people, you can't name the party. I mean, you can't blame the party, you have to blame the people. How can we, and on this side of the aisle and that side of the aisle, how can we reach an agreement? How can we get along with one another and make New Hampshire one of the best states in the world? Not, yeah, in the world. Not just number two or three or one, but number one. Keep it. I believe by keeping the taxes down, keeping the law where each other, when the Second Amendment right is focused, but mainly, let's fix the health and mental health and health system so that people can get better, and find a way where we can help the homeless. The homeless is it's so sad to see so many out there when I don't, in my mind, I don't feel that should be ever happening. By the grace of the universal spirit, I wasn't. Ain't no, like a homeless person. Even if you don't give them money, don't look down on them. Don't look below, like you're better than them, because we're not. If you follow the Bible, I don't. But if you Jesus said he walks among the lowest of low. Okay, he washes the feet of the homeless people, or people in need. Okay, those who are rich and those who are have made money, it's okay. I mean, you made it, so you've earned it, I'm sure. But just remember how long it took you to be up here. And just remember, you can lose this overnight. And that the attack on other people, whether it's in the political part, or school board, or anywhere else, is just horrendous. Am I guilty? Probably. You know, but it's just horrendous how people keep going on and on and on. It's time to let go. How much more do we need to talk about? Like when they slammed Trump, how much more do we need to talk about it? Why not let him do what he's trying to do? No matter what he does, it's never, ever going to be good enough. We know that, okay? But he is trying. Let's give him a chance. Let's give him a chance to prove what he's doing. Let's give him a chance to say, you know what, America? I'm doing it for you. Yeah, he's arrogant. He's egotistical. Oh, I used a big word. I think Lori'd be proud of me there. I should have called her. But let's use, he doesn't have a personality. But you know what? He's fighting like for the country. Obama isn't all the fault for what happened to him. I'm not saying he was a bad president. Not at all. But what I'm saying is there's a lot of criticism against him. And there's a lot of people think he's a hero. We cannot, the president cannot make the laws. The president cannot make the laws. He can be overridden. Okay, judges already found against Trump. But when all these new laws that come into play, you know what? It needs to. I thought that's why we had the senators and the Congress people in play. I wasn't. I will say I trust Chris Pappas. I want to wish him well and trusting that he will do a good job serving our city and our state as a congressman. Enough people believed in him, so let's hope he doesn't let us down. Ted Gassett, who was a mayor, is now executive director, council member, from the state of New Hampshire. Hopefully he'll do a good job as well. We need that people in power to become to unify into one. We need the people to be unified into one. Not let, this guy's a Democrat, so we know that the Democrats are going to control the party, or what goes on the state reps. Sad, but that's unfortunate. Or it could be the Republicans could control. Why does it have to be? Why does it have to be the Republicans controlling or the Democrats controlling? Why can't we just say, you know what? We're all controlled. We're all working for the betterment of New Hampshire, or for Iowa, or for Wisconsin, or the United States of America. God bless America. Why can't we just all do that? Even the people who don't like me or respect me, that's okay. I'm not gonna, I don't expect everybody to like me. I don't expect everybody to agree with me. I can tell you a lot of people, but you know what? That's okay. I will still love them because that's what we're supposed to do. I can honestly say I don't know how to hate people, nor do I even want to start. We can dislike their actions, but we should not dislike the person. We can dislike everything that goes on, but that's okay. When that's good. Don't be afraid of the dark. You don't have to walk alone. You don't have to be alone, and don't be afraid of the dark. If you're afraid of the dark, then that's going to overwhelm you. Think about the positive energy. Think about the positive energy that's going through, and look at the positive, not the negative energy. Look at each other and say, you know what? Hey, my name is Norm, and today I'm a winner. Or like Brandon's out there running the camera. Hey, Brandon is a winner today because he's running the camera, or he is a winner. What?
I'm a winner.
There you go. There you go. See, he said that, and I know he believes he is. The whole studio, we have so much here in this studio. We have a great studio. From Jason to Joe to Brandon. I don't know the other guy's name, but that's okay. But he's a nice guy, anyways. I've seen a lot of people come and go, a lot of TV shows come and go. In April, I'll be working on my 20th year. Plan on making another couple more years at least. Love doing it. But you out there in the TV land, you are a winner. I had Alexis and Victoria. They were great. They were not a politician, and they were not a spiritual reader. They were not. They were just everyday people. Alexis bought a new house, and she's a great mom, and she's working, not depending on the government. Victoria makes a lot of scarves and does a lot of knitting and all that stuff, and she has an open mind, and she does have a mind of her own. Trust me, she and I've had our encounters, shall we say, but we still love each other. As long as we don't allow our personal belief, whether you're a Democrat or politician, interfere with our own personal lives, you know what? That's cool. I have yet to listen to the radio show, but I do know that they do have a radio station here at the studio. I think you'd have to go online to get it, because I can't tell you the name of it, but it is there. You got Peter Whiteman, Nat Connerton, and some other people there, so it's a good thing. Maybe you want to have your own radio show. Call them up. Call up the station. There we go. At 640-3091, and when that's not the right number, they'll direct you to who to talk to. Okay. The good old days when we were on Commercial Street. Oh my goodness, we had and people got to know each other on Commercial Street. I was in the morning and I talked to them, and we had a lot of people that come in. The one I really miss is my friend Howie, who was on the other side. I'm hoping for the show just before Christmas that we can maybe get a couple of songs, the Christmas songs, or that Howie used to sing. Love that man and still miss that man. Okay, I can remember him coming in and he's saying, "And you want to come on your show? I want at least 15 minutes." And you know what? It was worth every minute of it. He cared for the people. He had a Christmas party at the Puritan every year for people who wanted to join him. I still have a lot of the gifts that he gave me. Howie, up there, you're a pretty special person. Then we had John, I can't remember the last name, isn't that awful? He used to have the puppets there he used to talk to and all that, okay? We've had several other psychic TV shows on. We had like my friend Jane King, whom I'm going to be getting back on again. And we've had, I can't remember her name, but her last name was Spitz. But we've had a lot of different people come and go. I want to be here. I want to be one of the oldest ones here, and because I love it. And it gives, you know what, when you do a TV show, that Mary, if she was here, she would agree with me. When you do a TV show here, it doesn't seem like much, but it always gives you something to look forward to. When we're going to be closed, I know the week of Christmas to the week of January 1st or the 2nd or whatever, and I'm going to be missing on a Wednesday or whatever Wednesday happens. Oh. Hello, welcome to Norm Community Corner.
Hi, Norm.
Hi, Mary.
Mary.
Yeah.
Okay, okay. Well, I'm still here.
Oh, okay.
And they're trying to make a deal here, so as soon as the deal is done, I'll drop in.
All right. Folks,
Okay.
this is my friend Mary.
Oh, my God.
From Cruising with Mary. And Mary, I was just telling him how you and I both enjoy being on TV.
Yes, we do. I really do.
Yeah.
I do. And I always tell you, thank you for you,
Right.
for getting me on
Right.
the show.
Okay. And so hopefully I'll look forward to you making Mary, I got to give you a lot of credit for doing your show by yourself. I'm just wandering around here like a blooming idiot. So
I have to go back, so I will catch you as soon as I get done with the paperwork.
okay, I'll see you when you get here then, okay?
All right.
Yep. Love you, Mary. Bye-bye. Oh, that's cool. Mary can come to the rescue. Dun, 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 dun. That sounds kind of childish, didn't it? But it was fun. You know, that's another thing. People say you have to act your age or act properly. What is your age? How do you act properly? I could never, and I could never sit there and act like an old man. I love life. I like being friendly with people. Sometimes I can be a little overbearing, and I agree with that, you know. And sometimes I talk too much. And I know that too, and that's who I am. But I'll always care for you, and I will always listen. I may not agree with you. You may not agree with me. Hurry up and sign those papers, Barry. But you may not agree with me. But you know what? As long as we can chat and chat, I have a lot of people that come into my office. Do they always agree with me? No. Do I always agree with them? No. But one of the things I gotta tell you that breaks my heart when I see these young people that are coming in for help because they are drug addicts. We're working to help them to get better. Am I a miracle worker? Absolutely not. But these people that want to get better, these people who have the initiative to stay clean and sober, those are the winners. Those are the heroes. Those are the ones who make us because they've been through there. I am looking forward to having a few of those come on my TV show and talk about what they went through, how they got started, and how they've been clean and sober. I think that'll be interesting. I also think it'll be interesting to have many different ones coming on the show. January 2019 to at least September 2019 can and will be, if you allow it, to be very prosperous for each and every one of you. Sad part is there's going to be a lot more destruction in this country, more mourning, more sadness, more killings, but each individual can be very prosperous, can be a lot more healing coming into your bodies. Nostradamus says, and I believe it says in Revelations as well, mankind will destroy themselves. Let's prove Revelations and let's prove Nostradamus wrong. Let's make our country and our lives within ourselves a lot better. Let's look at each other and say, you know what? We can unite together. We can be strong for each other. That would be the most wonderful president, wouldn't it? Wouldn't that be the most awesome president in the world? Stop blaming all the bad on each other. Stop blaming Trump for everything that goes wrong. Stop blaming Obama what might have gone wrong. Stop blaming the Senate. Stop blaming the Congress. Remember, you people voted them in. And in this city, stop blaming everybody. Have our mayor become more open and more open to subjects that they need to talk about. And the school board come into a pleasant agreement with each other. Have the aldermen and persons, all, because there's women on there too, I believe, all work together for the betterment of Manchester. Let's all, and I'm guilty about saying things that probably people may not like. I'm not going to say I'm perfect, although I think I am. But no, I'm only kidding, folks. But look at it this way. You can make it work for the betterment. You and I and all of us. I got a little upset, and thank goodness I got a hold of my alderman, Bill Berry. They were tearing some equipment down in the park. And I'm going, oh no, what are they doing? I was all upset. I jumped to conclusions too fast. My friend and Alderman Bill Berry told me that he that they're redoing the park over. So that was exciting for me to hear that. We managed to get the substation on at the park, a new steps and a new sign. Sadly, now they're going to be taking that mobile home away. So I'm a little bit I'm glad that we were able to accomplish what we accomplished. If we can unite together, maybe have some kind of a block party or some kind of a meeting for our aldermen and ward people to get together, or your streets or your neighbors, how can we improve? How can we improve our street? How can we improve the west side? How can we improve the main side or whatever? South side, east side, north side, whatever. How can we improve it? I love the west side. And I will do everything I can to help improve it. Not just my street, not just my park, but anywhere that all they have to do is they can Facebook me and say, let's get together and work together and make the west side better. I would like to see where Mr. Foods used to be. I would like to see some kind of a grocery store going in there so that it would help prosper West Side and make it a lot more convenient for the people who live in the elderly homes there. I would like to see that happen. We can only dream, but I believe in dreams. The street that I live on, there's a man who every year he decorates his house for Christmas, he decorates his house for Halloween, and Easter, and Thanksgiving, and then as you go down on 2nd Street, there's another house that looks beautiful as they decorate their lights for Christmas. And I think there's a couple more in the back of where I live too, I'm not sure. I can remember when I first moved here, folks, that everywhere people had lights on. I used to live over on Brook Street, and you go up around and you look around, lights, more lights, more lights, more lights. And, it was a unity of everybody making it seem like Christmas. I don't know if the nativity scene is still downtown. If it is, please give me a call and let me know. I always look forward to that. I thought it was really great. Also, what I always look forward to is the love that people have, the smiles. Can you remember them? I think it would be cool if there was a way we could do it and have the sleigh going down through, maybe on weekends, to give the kids a ride, in the sleigh with the horses on it, pulling the sleigh, and maybe having Santa Claus waving to them. I think it'd be pretty neat over the weekend or around right up till Christmas. What do you think, folks? One of the things that, we did, and one of the things that I used to like here, we used to do a lot of things on Commercial Street for tots, what do you call it, toys for tots and stuff like that. It seems to be vanishing. I will say Glenn Argiola did a lot of work promoting, like helping to feed the food bank down there, adding the food, and we went on that, or just doing different activities that we could do, And I thought everything was pretty cool that way. I'm just rambling, folks. Got anything? Come on, give me a call. Talk about something. Talk about something if you're watching this show. 603, okay. Yeah, 603-640-3091. Give me a call. Been a long, long time since I've done a show by myself like this, and probably I don't know if I'm making sense or not, but that's okay. I guess my biggest concern is Let's keep Manchester number one. Let's make it number one. Education-wise, let's make it so people don't want to move out. Let's make it so people want to move into this state and into this city. Let's prove to people that we are proud citizens of Manchester. We can do it, you know. We can all do it. Whether they're from India, whether they're from Africa, whether they're from Egypt, or whether they're from China, whatever, Puerto Rico, or whatever, we need to make them feel welcome. The building that I live in, at one time we had several people from Bhutan that came in from Nepal. They've gone on, every one of them that I'm aware of are American citizens. Isn't that amazing? Some moved to New York, some moved to Ohio, some moved here, some moved there, but and they're all hardworking people. If they can improve their lives coming in from another country, why can't we? If they can build up strength to believe in America and become somebody, why can't we? As the United States born citizens. Several businesses are owned by people from other countries because they had the initiative to be successful. We can too, if you want to. It's interesting how it works, isn't it? It's interesting what happens with us if we need to do things in a different way. There are a lot of jobs out there if people want to work. The door isn't open for China to come back in now. But there are a lot of jobs out here. Whether it's a $10 job or an $8 job, or whether it's a $15 job, a $35 an hour job, then there are jobs out there if people want to work. It is all up to the person. I am really scared when I see people standing there holding signs. I'm homeless. I haven't eaten in 3 or 4 days, but yet they'll stand on that meridian or whatever you want to call it. What happens if a big wind falls through or something like that? It's really cold out and there's ice there. And who is at fault if they fall into the traffic because it's slippery or whatever? Is it the driver at fault? Or is it the person who's standing on that little pathway there, like over on Queen City Ave or over here on Granite Street and all these different places? Who's at fault? And then if the driver gives these people money, you can get fined for it. You know, and there's something wrong with that theory, as far as I'm concerned. When they are putting the homeless people are putting their lives in jeopardy by standing on that little piece of highway, not even on the highway, that separates one street from another. And they're standing there and they're walking back and forth. I don't know. And they slip or they fall, and if you get caught giving them money, you're in a lot of trouble. And yet the legal beagles there, the ALUC or what do you want to call them, says they have a right to be there. Okay, so that's a lot of problems that we have to face. Like they have a right to you, and I don't think it is right, but they have a right to come up to you and ask you for money. And some people have gotten attacked from them. I remember when a person got attacked and lost his eye from a guy using a ballpoint pen and poking the guy. They have a right to ask you, and you're right, we have a right to say no. Well, what happens when they become belligerent or pretty forceful and they want their own way and people are not going to come downtown. Sad but true. I've thought about going down and talking to a couple of them that haven't come on my show and tell me why they're homeless. I think it'll be an interesting topic. I'm talking about see what's going to be happening with all these other homeless people. And I know there's a lot of sick people down there, and they're catching colds, I'm sure, and they're hungry. But you know what? I believe that the New Horizon offers free meals. I don't know about the sleeping quarter, but I do know they have I think 2 different shifts of feeding the homeless people or anybody, from what I understand. I was there 30 years or 28 years ago. I was eating there 24 years ago. I ate there. I don't know how it is now there. And they used to have what they call a soup kitchen, and they also had a place there where you could go get food. When they still, I'm not sure. But there is help out there if the people want it. The homeless vets, yes, there's a lot of homeless vets, but there's also a lot of facilities out there that will help you. You have the Liberty House, you have the VA, you have all these places that you can go to seek help if you want to. I had the pleasure of talking with a lady that lives in Canaan, that she runs like a homeless place. But they also have to be, she goes out of her way to help them get the benefits that they need. And my understanding, I have a friend who was at the homeless shelter 4 years ago, and he says has passed. And he was telling me how they had these rules and regulations, like almost like a concentration camp. What it is or not, I don't know, so I'm not going to say one way or the other. But even as a homeless shelter that is being run by the Family in Transition now, I hope that if the rumors that I heard about them not doing that well with them, I hope that's wrong, and I hope they will show the homeless people compassion and love and understanding. Not be a jailer, not be a jailer, not being, a correctional officer, but being a person who is understanding, and who is caring. I always wonder, with all the money that these people get to help support the shelter, where is it all going? Okay, and how many is there enough room? Should they be investing in a bigger place for the homeless people? Where is it all going? Same with the Manchester Animal Shelter. For the director, or them, are they volunteers or are they on pay scales? How much money do they get? How much do the animals actually get cared for? How much of that actually go to the care of the homeless people? How much of it? I'm just a curious person. And I wonder how much it really goes. Right or wrong, like me or not. That's just some of the questions that I like to ask. Salvation Army, how much do they give to their patriots that come in here for help? How much does the Salvation Army, or the Red Cross, for instance, how much do they help? Without having to pay back. Okay. All these organizations, and I have one now that I'm going to get back into working on even harder. Arts, called the Healing Paws NH. I really got to get back into that. I've been stalemate on it, so that's my fault. But all these charitable organizations that make millions, the cancer research, the American, they have so many researchers for cancer, the Shriners, all these stuff. How much of it does it all go to the care of the children? How much does that actually go into running the business? And it is a business. That's what I'm wondering about. Does it all work that way? Does it all work to the betterment of the people? I don't like it when I see these young men that are on the Shriners advertisement. They're either wheelchairs or they're doing this is my show or this is whatever. I have a problem with them advertising and using the disabled children as pawns to raise more money. I have a problem when I see them with the children at like St. Jude to raise more money. They're using them as pawns. Or the dogs that are on cats that are on to raise money for the shelter or whatever, just to do that. I really do. How much money is spent on all these commercials, all these advertisements? How much money is actually spent? The Shriners have it on several times a day. St. Jude has it on several times a day. Cancer Research has it on several times a day. How much do they actually spend on these advertisements? I think it'd be pretty interesting to find out. And how do you go to find out? If anybody knows, I'd be very happy to follow up on it. The government sees to it, there's a thing about the health and welfare of the drug abusers. How much money is going into that? The rehabilitation of the heroin user, the whatever abusers. How much money going into that? Are these people that are going in there, are they really ready to get the help they need? I hope so. There might be one person that if you go to AA or NA or whatever that might hear the message that should be sent to them to keep them sober. I don't know me. All I know is that we got a lot of changes we got to make here. Oh, hopefully Gary will make it. But it's 5 o'clock. Well, I made 1 hour. Be patient, sir. I'm not sure if I'm going to be here for the next hour all through, but we're going to try to do the best we can. I'm waiting for my dear friend Mary. She'll liven it up for me. Or when Gary. Do you believe that we can heal America? Do you believe that we can heal America? Do you believe that there's a way that we can get rid of all this hate? And I'm sure I've made a lot of mistakes. I get a lot of people upset with me, and that's okay. I don't expect everybody to agree with me. But do you believe that we can make this country better? I do. Instead of bashing people who are protesting, I guess, the illegal immigrants coming in, or the protesters stopping the illegal immigrants or whatever, coming in. Let's make them feel welcome so they don't have to come in illegally. They're not proving anything by coming in illegal. So many people I have met in this world or in this country that are here and they work very hard to become legal people. And those you have to commend and say, job well done. You have to shake their hand and say, hey, you're doing a very good job. Job well done. Ben, I want to take a 2-minute break, please. Hey, I am back, ladies and gentlemen, and thank you for putting up with me for a whole hour. I'm sure I would have been bored too, but I had the honorable, respectable. Well, that's
I
questionable.
don't know about that.
Yeah, I was going to say questionable.
That's
Gary
pushing it, buddy.
Harper. Well, the respectable, I'll put a question mark on it. So, Gary.
Yes, dear.
How things going up in Concord?
What a day in Concord, Norm. It was crazy. Okay, so I've been going up there since 2000. I got first elected in 2000, and I thought it was odd. I'll be honest with you. For those who don't know, once you're sworn in, first you have to swear to uphold the Constitution. Before you can do anything else, you have to swear, sign your name, saying that you will defend and protect the Constitution of the United States and the state of New Hampshire. First. Okay? You're sworn in, you raise your hand and swear to God that you're going to defend the Constitution. Then the House starts voting on officers. And the first thing they vote for is the Speaker of the House. And no surprises there for anybody who's following. The majority leader is Steve Shurtleff, and he became the Speaker of the House this morning.
Now, if you're Republican or Democrat?
Democrat. Oh. Democrats have a pretty good majority, so whoever they pick basically is the Speaker of the House. It's not necessarily the case when Republicans have the majority because they fight amongst themselves. But anyway, so that's what happened first thing. And then we go into joint session, which means you have the House.
Yep.
Oh, no. Then we vote for, we're still in the House. We voted for the Speaker. And then we have votes for the clerk, the House clerk, and the House Sergeant at Arms. Those are elected by the House. Who's the clerk is the one who basically runs the House as far as what paperwork and making sure people are voting and not voting and when people are supposed to speak and when people are not supposed to speak, all that kind of stuff. The House clerk is the one who is the organizer for the entire House session. And then the person after that is the Sergeant at Arms, who tries to keep, the House under control and make sure people don't get too nuts. So that's the first thing we did. Then we went into joint session, and the House and the 24 members of the Senate get together, and we're the ones who vote for the Secretary of State and the what is it? What's the other one? Finance guy, whoever that is. I've forgotten. I wasn't paying much attention to it because there's nobody running against them. So the big one was the Secretary of State today. And so you have a joint session, and Bill Gardner has been the Secretary of State since long before I got first elected in 2000. I think he's been doing it for like 30 or 40 years or something like that. And he's done an amazing job. Sure. Okay, Bill Gardner has helped fight to keep us first in the nation. And if you don't care about that, well, you should care about all the money comes into the state every 2 years for people running for president. It's a lot of money. The state makes a lot of money on being the first in the nation primary. And it also gives the people of New Hampshire a say in who the next president is. New Hampshire has actually done a pretty good job of filtering out crappy people who are running for United States president.
So we're pretty powerful.
Yeah, we actually are. A lot more so than our physical size. We only have 1.3 million people. Yeah. We have a lot more say over who becomes the next president than any other state.
Isn't that amazing?
Yeah. And so that first in the nation thing is something Bill Gardner has fought and defended ever since he's been Secretary of State. The one thing you will also notice is in the state of New Hampshire, you have never had an election where you see hanging chads and all the crap we've seen go on in Florida, where all of a sudden they find stacks of ballots here that weren't supposed to be there. None of that crap happens in New Hampshire, and that's in very large part due to Bill Gardner. Bill Gardner is the one, if you talk to any of your clerks or at town clerks and things like that, they will tell you what a great guy he is to work for. So he's been doing a great job for a long time, and he's still doing a great job. So then you have this Colin Van Ostrin try to unseat him. He had $250,000, collected $250,000 to unseat Bill Gardner. And he was doing it, if he was doing it because he really wanted the seat and thought he could make a big difference, I could see it, but I don't think it had anything to do with that. It was all about power. If you looked at any of his ads that he sent out, and I've posted them on Facebook if somebody ever wants to see them, you go back in my thing.
Yeah.
It would say, I can look. Do you mind if I look something up for 2 seconds? Because I want you to, it's really important that you understand how sleazy this is. And if you have legislators that voted for him, you should question whether or not you should vote for them again. Seriously, because the guy was completely dishonest.
Yeah.
You know, it's one thing to vote for somebody that you agree with. It's entirely different to vote for somebody you know is being entirely... Okay, so this is his PAC or whatever that he used to send out literature, and it says free and fair. Top of the thing. You can't probably see it.
I got that in the mail.
Yeah, free. It says free and fair, and then it says Colin Van Ostrin, *, Secretary of State. If you didn't know better, you would think he is the Secretary of State.
Just gonna say, yeah, because I got one of those in my mailbox.
Yeah.
You know, and I read it over, and I almost Facebook. You said, "Isn't Bill Gardner still the?"
Right. So
I
he's
actually had the pleasure of beating Bill Gardner in a party,
right.
and I got a free meal again.
But the thing is, he's calling it free and fair,
Right.
and then he lies or at least is deceptive and gives the impression that he is the Secretary of State.
Yeah.
In fact, he sent out letters early on because the only people that can elect him are members of the House and Senate. So early on, I was watching the mail, and I would keep getting mail from, Colin Van Ostrin, Secretary of State, and it would tell you information about voting. If it was voting you could get off the Secretary of State's website already. It wasn't new information, but he made it look like he was providing information. And he had like I said, $250,000. I believe 100,000 of it was from out of state. And then what he said is, at first he said that he was going to try to help people get elected. Then he realized there was a conflict of interest there, so he says, "Oh no, I won't do that." So he set up a separate PAC that evolved, came out of nowhere. It was like an old PAC that nobody was using. They resurrected that, threw a bunch of money in it, and that PAC started giving money to candidates to get elected. So he literally tried to buy the Secretary of State's office, and he almost won.
So he didn't win. Bill's still up.
Well, let me tell. So I was nervous. I had called people, and if anybody is connected to me on Facebook, they know I've posted many times about what a great guy Gardner is and what a deceptive jerk. I call him Van Ostrich.
There you go.
And so I've done, I think, my part to help. And the vote was, let's see.
I want to know.
It was like 200. He needed 209 to win. Okay. The winner needed 209. Bill Gardner got 208. And Van Ostrin got 207. And one person didn't fill in their vote. So why are you? You just get elected to state representative, and the first thing you do is not vote, which is kind of bad. So we basically almost ended up. It was only like a vote away from losing that vote, and so then we went back and we had to vote again. More speeches, voted again, and it was I think 208 to 205. But by that time, the number had decreased, so the majority was only 208, I think, or 207. But anyway, so Bill Gardner did win,
Yeah.
but it was only by a wicked slim majority.
God, he's been in there for what, 30 years?
I thought longer than that.
Is it longer? I can remember in my 3 days that's how I met him. I had a cocktail, and I walked out. We were at some kind of a political meeting.
Yeah.
Somehow, me rambling on, somehow it fell on his shirt, and he was so gracious.
Oh, he is a really nice guy.
He could have flipped out on me, and I'm like, how are you, sir? And all that. Well, you know how.
Yeah.
The martini fell on it, and he was so pleasant, and he really, that's when I get to realize, hey, wait a minute, what am I doing wrong? Because I've actually thought about jumping into the political world.
Yeah, I don't know why you wouldn't.
Well, I got a big mouth. I'll be getting in trouble all the time.
So?
When I think about running for state senate or representative, you know who I can understand why people keep doing this? Me.
Yeah. A lot of times I disagree with Senator Lou D'Alessandro.
That's just what I was going to say.
Right? I want his voters and the people of Manchester to know that he was very good and came up to support Bill Gardner on the House floor today.
Really?
So you should be very proud of your senator for at least that vote.
I am. Because I was just going to say, hey, how old is this man?
Which one? Gardner?
No, Lou D'Alessandro.
I think he's 203.
I do too.
Yeah.
But yet, you know what? My son was so impressed with him several years ago when he went to run. He asked Lou D'Alessandro a question about the gambling or whatever, because he's a real component.
Yeah,
of that.
yeah.
And and then he ran into him and they started talking, and 8 years after this,
Yeah.
Lou D'Alessandro remembered who my son was.
Really?
Yeah.
If I met your son today, you know who I would not recognize tomorrow? Your son.
Well, yes, you would, because he looks like me.
Oh, gosh. That's scary.
I placed a guy in the know because he asked me if I had a good.
But I'm horrible like that.
I don't remember names. I don't remember pictures. Well, the work that I do, in all honesty, the work that I truly do, if I remembered, like you, if we remembered every damn name, we would be mind-boggled.
Right.
Or I'll have a lady, you remember what you told me 10 years ago? That you were pregnant, baby? Something like that, and then I get them wrong. Yeah,
Am I a father or
a
child?
Well, I had this is a funny story, then we'll go back in there. This lady, I come knocking on my door with the social worker come knocking on my door.
Yeah.
And she said, when are you going to start supporting your children? I go, children, me? She goes, yeah. She says, you got a 10-year-old back then and 12. I go, who does? I said, sweetheart, I am gayer than a $3 bill. I haven't seen a woman in over 25 years. And if I did, I'd probably be running down the street saying, oh, my God, what is it?
Right.
And she was going to sue me. So I was going to go on, was it Judge Judy?
Yeah.
Or one of those talk shows?
Yeah.
I was going to go on one of them. And all of a sudden, I never heard from them again.
That's pretty great.
Yeah. I must have been the Immaculate Joseph. One of them. What I was talking about with Gary is a lot of things. How can we, like what we talked about last week, without bringing Christ back into our cities and into our town?
Yeah.
And how can we, I do a lot of counseling with people that are heroin addicts, and people say, I hate it when I hear them say, or they advertise on TV, I was a drug addict, but I'm not anymore.
You're still an addict.
Of course, you're an addict no matter what you are,
Once you break the mold, it's broken forever. You can re-glue it.
Yeah.
But it's still broken.
Took me a lot of times, but I did it.
Did you ever see? Oh, I gotta get. I was at a. I'm gonna go off track because that's what I do.
Well, what's new?
I know. I was at a meeting. One of the cool things. That's why you got to be a legislator, because you get invited to some cool stuff. And I shouldn't say cool because it was kind of sad too, but it was a conference for human trafficking.
Yeah.
And it was out near the coast. I forget what town it was in. Anyway, I'm going to this trafficking and listening to these typically women. It wasn't always women, but the ones that I heard from were women who were trafficked as sex slaves, basically, when they were young. And you listen to these people, and they've got it together. They're like doing good, right? And it reminded me of a really cool thing. I think it's in Japan, because porcelain and stuff, the really good porcelain is pretty expensive. So what they, and I think I have this not quite right, but what they do is they re-glue the porcelain, and they use gold to fill like the gaps a little bit, right? And it turns this beautiful porcelain bowl into something that's absolutely gorgeous. So it's far more beautiful after it's repaired than when it was new. You know what I mean? It's just, and it reminded me of these people where, you know, and I think it's helpful for the viewers if you can understand that, yes, sometimes things, because God gives us free will, there are people there are absolutely always will be people that abuse that free will and only care about their own will and their own desires and harm, in particular, little kids. Yeah. And it's a function of whether you're going to allow that to define the rest of your life and you're going to be a victim the rest of your life, or you're going to turn it over to God and grow from it and become this beautiful bowl that is far more awesome than when it was originally created because of the healing power of Jesus Christ. And it's just beautiful. I mean, these people are so amazing. You know, you picture yourself being abused like that, and you just, you know, still, you know, somebody like me, I'd still be in a corner going, you know what I mean? Yeah. And they repaired, and they're beautiful humans.
You know, I was abused, both male and female,
yep.
And growing up. And interesting that you said that, because as you know, I became a born-again Christian, got kind of carried away. But I have my own spiritual way of doing things. And
didn't you get abused by that church too?
Yeah.
Yeah, which was like,
when
you told me about that, it was like, wow.
But you know what? I still believe in the higher power.
Yeah.
And I know that if I didn't turn it over, and you call him God, I call it the universal spirit. Well, it's the same thing as far as I'm concerned. Okay? And I did it through Jesus Christ, whatever. But you know what? And you're absolutely right. I don't have time to dwindle on what happened to me physically.
Right.
Or emotionally.
Right.
I can either sit out, like you just said, poor me.
Yeah.
I hit it with alcohol.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I hid the gift that I had with alcohol.
Yeah.
And I was on the poor me because my dad wasn't there to defend me or whatever. But you know what? The best part is, do I believe in God or the universal spirits I like to call them? Once I said, you know what? I turned all this over to my higher power. And once I did that, Gary, this is the first time, forgive me for getting emotional.
That's all right.
But this is the first time that I ever admitted it to anyone. Thank you.
Wow. That's awesome, buddy.
Yeah. I had, years and years ago, my friend Bob took me up to the town I grew up in.
Yeah.
That's when I started growing. And saying, yeah, there's a higher power. Will I agree with people? And, you know, we have free will, like you said.
Yeah.
I truly believe that the spirit that I call spirit, that you call, gave me the energy to do the readings on people to help them. Not to harm them.
Right.
But to help them to get better. To help them to say, you know what, it's okay. Now it's time to move on.
Yeah.
So, once again, I want to thank you. There was a reason why you and I were alone.
Apparently.
No, folks, don't get the dirty mind.
No, I tell my grandkids that all the time. I take a turn or something like that, and they'll say, "Oh, that was a wrong turn." I says, "I don't know. Maybe it was exactly the right turn. Maybe if I had gone the way I should have gone, something negative would have happened.
Yeah.
Maybe I had to go this way for a reason."
I'm a true believer in that. Okay? Like, I invited a certain person to come on for the school board member, not mentioning names. Okay?
Yeah.
The reason why, and then I have another friend who was supposed to come on, who was supposed to come on but she was embarrassed because she went to the dentist and lost.
Oh yeah. I know what you mean. Yeah.
So she couldn't make it. We were going to talk about mental health.
Right.
Okay. Of course, I've already been mentally ill, so you know.
Well, who better to talk about mental stuff than me?
There you go.
Not the health part, but the mental part.
Me too. You know.
So half the show, anyway, right?
I was at the. I can honestly, and I'm not embarrassed to say that back in 1968 or 69, I spent 2 weeks at the Concord State Hospital through depression.
Okay.
Okay.
When?
68, 69.
Okay.
And everyone said to me, "Oh, you'll be back. You'll be back." I haven't gone back.
No.
Okay. I haven't forced them. Had I known what people in power expect a person from the wrong side of tracks, if you know what I mean,
Yeah.
to do in favor to be grateful for being where I am today.
Right.
Okay. I had forgiven this man many years ago for the things that I had to do.
Right.
But now that's between the higher power and him.
Yeah. Exactly.
You know.
Well, the thing is, I'll tell you my story. I don't know if I've told you before.
No.
So, when I was little, I was very sick. For those of you who have lived most of your life pretty healthy, it is unlikely that you will appreciate what you have. So anyway, I grew up very ill, and then I went to school, Norm. And you know what school told me?
Get the hell out.
Besides that, school told me that a bolt of lightning hit a primordial ooze, and that the first form of life happened, and from that form of life, it started reproducing and eventually morphed into different things, and eventually we had things that walked on land, and eventually we had apes, and apes turned into humans, and humans are now what we are now. Okay, so what does that mean? If you believe that, what you're saying is that your child, you're telling kids in school right now that they are there only by accident. It is only some fluke of nature that created the first life which created them. Okay? Well, if they're only here by accident, so I'm a defective kid, I'm physically sick, life is very unpleasant physically, and when you're physically sick all the time, that messes with your emotions too, and I'm sure people can identify with that. I'm basically was being told that life is just chance and nothing else. It has zero meaning, and you're defective to begin with, and you should not stick around and reproduce, right?
Yeah.
If you're there for the
Right.
betterment of the species, I am defective and therefore should not reproduce the species. The only purpose I have in life, I shouldn't do. And so if there was no God, there was no reason, period. And if you're sick all the time and there's no reason for you to be here at all anyway, why not jump off a damn bridge?
I thought of that, Melina. I used to think of that.
Right?
Yep.
Okay,
Yeah.
so we're teaching our kid that they have no value whatsoever.
Yep.
And that's what I grew up with. And so later on, I was praying, and God let me see something that was pretty awesome and convinced me, because I was praying, because I says, okay, God, if you're there, you got to show me, because otherwise I'm checking out. There is really no point to me being here. And it was around 1988, Norm. I was in I had quit drinking, and I was in a church in Nashville on my knees praying with a friend. And I'll tell you, Norm, you know how, like you said, you let go of that hostility and anger. It was when I let go of my hostility towards God and forgave him that I was able to accept Christ, and my life started getting spiritually better.
Wasn't that amazing?
It was super amazing. It was the turning point in my life, because before that, like I say,
Well, look at you
secular
today.
society is pointless.
Look at you today. You're in the honorable Gary Harper from all that way. I was made fun of. I was called feeble-minded. I was called retarded. They accused me of being living such a simple life. That's why my baby girl died. Look at us today.
I know. Yeah, feeble-minded. The whole thing is, a lot of times they would label us that way because we didn't learn the way they were teaching us.
Right. I learned more in sitting in the hallway in the school, in the classroom, get kicked out of class than I did actually in my own.
Yeah. Yeah, I learned a lot from. I learned differently. I have a hard time concentrating, I used to be a lot worse, but now I'm better at it now. But when I was young, I couldn't sit down and read a book and learn from it.
I haven't learned it.
Too, I couldn't. It's just too boring.
Yeah. Well, I haven't learned. Actually, even today, I'm just saying where you are. Even though I couldn't see the blackboard as a kid growing up, I didn't get glasses until I was 13.
Yeah.
But you and I learned more on our own. You're a machinist, right?
Yep.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
No one taught you. You didn't go to college for it, did
No.
you? No. You learned on hand, right?
Yeah.
Same with nursing. I'm a nurse, but you know what? I learned more I got out of school, and from the higher power. When I was able, like you said, when I was able to let go, and it's not, folks. Every day, and I'm sure you'll agree with me, every day we have to learn to let something go.
Well, I was thinking it's like, like an eagle comes down.
Mm-hmm.
If you ever see this, it's a pretty horrible picture. But every now and then, an eagle will go down and he'll grab a salmon that's too big, and he can't let go. And so he tries to swim to the shore, and a lot of times they don't make it. Some eagles will actually drown because they can't let go.
Yeah.
And it's like that in our lives. If we have this, if somebody's done you wrong, ask Christ, ask God to help you forgive them. And the best way you can do that is pray for them. Not pray for them to die.
No.
Pray.
I was in a church when they would literally do that. The same church I was talking to you about.
Oh no, that's horrible.
They prayed for this man to have his legs broken because he and this other woman got married, and the guy went into the lake and was drowned.
Wow, that's witchcraft.
Yeah, that's why I always said if that was
Right?
Christian.
That is
I wouldn't
witchcraft.
look at. I always said if that was Christianity, I don't want it.
I don't blame you. That's not Christianity.
No, and the one thing that I got to ask your permission on something. Yeah. You were very close to your mom, right?
Yeah.
Okay. May I, with your permission, give you a message from her? It has to be your permission. I just can't do it.
Off air.
I'm sorry?
Off air.
Okay. That's a good thing, but it's okay.
Okay.
But I'll do it off the air, okay? Because I can't violate that.
Okay. That seems reasonable.
That's like I cannot do I would never do a reading on you because of your beliefs,
right?
Okay? Because I think that would be forcing something on you that I don't want you, that you wouldn't accept, okay? Right. That's like that when they come to see, my beliefs are be a Christian, be the best you can be, but live it.
Right. Exactly. It was Gandhi said he would believe in Christianity if he could find one.
Me too.
But he never found one. I mean, you look at India. England was in India, basically dominating India, and it was treating the people like garbage. This is like a Christian country theoretically. The United Kingdom is a Christian country. Yeah. They come in there and they treated the people like garbage. And it's like, so Gandhi's sitting there, really, that's Christianity? But I know, well, you know, and I know that Christianity is all about forgiveness and love.
And this is what I try to do every day. I have some friends. I have a wonderful, wonderful friend. He's from Africa.
Yep.
And he lives in a very small area there. And he's into corruption from Kenya. And he, like you just said, there was a bunch of these Christian people.
Right.
Now, we're going to take over. We're going to destroy voodoo. We're going to destroy this. But then they preach one thing and be doing something else. And his mother taught him to be a Seventh-day Adventist, but when he got here, he said, I said, you know what? You have to practice what you believe.
Yeah.
You and I may not always agree on our growth in the spiritual world, but as long as we live it, as long as we practice it, that's all we need.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I'm a Christian, so I believe.
Yeah.
Yes. If you're a Christian, the litmus test, if you're a Christian, is do you love your brother?
Right.
Who's your brother? Well, it's basically everybody. When I say love your brother, that doesn't mean you have to, go give them all hugs and
No.
and if they need money, you just give it to them or something like that. That's not love. Love is caring about their well-being. Like, in other words, the people that have done you wrong, you pray for them. Pray for if you can learn to pray for those people that have done you wrong, and ask God to forgive you and forgive them, and let it go. Then it's all that weight you're not carrying around. Forgiveness is one of the greatest tools for a healthy spiritual life in the world.
Yeah. Well, that's what Buddha says too.
Oh, they do? I don't know a lot about Buddha.
Yeah, that's what. The whole thing is forgiveness. I work very hard, and I know you do too, on forgiving.
Yeah.
I don't know how to hate. Nor do I want to.
I can pick up on it.
Yeah, right. Yeah, okay. That's why you're a politician.
No, I mean,
really. I know when people don't like me or something like that.
No,
that's fine.
I find myself, because I'm human.
Yeah.
I find myself like, today when I was seeing what was going on, how there's this group of people who are trying to buy the Secretary of State's office. Right? Our Secretary of State's a Democrat. Every Republican legislature has voted for a Democrat for the Secretary of State.
Really?
Oh, yeah. Bill Gardner's a Democrat. And Republicans, it didn't matter who was in charge. They always voted for Bill Gardner because he did a great job. All of a sudden, you've got this new guy who wants to buy the thing, and I see that as an absolute positive affront to our way of life in New Hampshire, of personal responsibility and voting for people because they're good people, and all of that was just going right out the window today. And so it would have been really easy for me to focus on some people and get really, really angry, but I had to keep letting it go. It's okay, forget it. First of all, I let it go because who's in charge? Am I in charge? No.
No. You're in charge of yourself. That's
all I got. I get that one vote. So who's really in charge? God's in charge. Let it go. Sometimes, if the wrong thing had happened, maybe God needs that to happen to teach people a lesson. Who knows?
You know what? I just got a thought. I think you'll agree with me. There was a different, because I was going to have another person just apologize who couldn't make it to come on next week. I believe that the Spirit or God had just you and I talking for this reason.
Yeah, because there's people in the audience right now, Norm, that are holding on to rage. They're holding on to anger or fear. It's just fear is just the flip side of rage.
When I let go,
you gotta let it go.
Yeah. When I stopped blaming my dad.
Yep.
Because my dad did not put the alcohol in my hand.
Right.
He didn't molest me or have me abused. He listened to me.
Yeah.
Which was cool. He also accepted the fact of the way my life is. Even though we didn't understand that back then. He didn't get me behind the wheel.
Right.
He didn't have me get married 4 times,
Right.
And I realized, too, a lot of it was I didn't really reach out to him like I should have, I think.
Right.
So when I went to that Marsh Pond in Springfield, New Hampshire, you know where that is? Springfield?
I know where Springfield is, but I don't
Marsh
know
Pond is on a little road, Joyce Marsh Pond Road.
Okay.
And it was a river when I first grew up. Then it became a dam.
Yeah.
And when I started, my friend Bob, I got to tell you, he was awesome. I went to that river, and I screamed, and I cried. And the one thing I said to him, God, was, why have you forsaken me?
Oh, yeah.
He says, no, you forsaken me because you didn't believe in what we were doing. And I will always always remember that. He should be pretty strong when he gets a message,
Yeah.
you know? And this is what today, this is why I love my TV show. And I think you do too.
Yeah.
You know? And like I told you, what was her name, the one that got killed, the one you took over?
Oh, Cheryl Mayer.
Cheryl. I was always so happy with the fact that we were able to make amends with each other, because I did not realize that what I had said to her
Hurt her.
hurt her feelings.
Yeah.
So she told me, when I was so regretted for it, you know.
Yeah.
And she was a lovely
She was a
person.
really cool woman.
She really was. And to this day, I still have a lot of respect for her.
I don't think I told you this, right? So when she came back to New Hampshire, she was staying at my mother's house because my mother's house is a safe place because it's, because she's, as you know, Cheryl was very beautiful. And there's a lot of guys who, are trying to put the moves on her.
Yeah.
And that's why I didn't really know her that well, but I wanted her to go to someplace safe. And my mother's house was safe because I knew the only guy that ever came over there was me, and I trust me.
Oh, okay. I wouldn't, but that's okay.
Oh yeah, I don't blame you. So anyway, so when she came, she's such a firebrand, right? So she goes, she says, "Well, I want to get active politically. Can you take me to the State House?" Yeah, all right. So I take her up to the State House, and we're getting back into my car, and we're coming back home. She goes, "I'm going to be your campaign manager next year." I said, "Cheryl, I really don't need a camp. I don't care. I'm going to be your campaign." Because we do small campaigns, and where it's you don't really need a manager. It's mainly making phone calls, putting up signs, doing literature and stuff. It's not a big ticket thing. But she was just so cute. She was gonna, before she passed away, she said she was gonna be my campaign manager whether I liked it or not.
You know what she said to me the week before she died?
Yeah.
She said, "I know that I'm not going to be here much longer." I said, "On the TV show?"
Oh, she did? I
Yeah.
didn't know that.
Yeah. And she said, "No, I'm not going to be here much longer." I'm a firm believer that people really know when it's happening.
She knew. She came back. I know this is. I don't think it's harsh, but I think it's true. I don't think she knew how she was going to go.
No.
But she did know that she came back to connect with her kids before she had to go.
Oh, she had children?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, the cotton picking jerks put a, the Amber Alert?
Oh, yeah.
They sent out an Amber Alert because Cheryl had her kids for, I think, a little bit too long or something. I mean, not like days long. Like,
Oh, you're right. Yeah.
she ended up in Valley Street.
Folks, I got to tell you, who we're talking about was the most beautiful
Yeah.
lady. I don't mean just in looks. I mean in
physically
heart.
she was pretty, but
Very pretty.
her spirit was
She
beautiful.
was very smart.
Yep.
And, I'm just so grateful that I had the opportunity twice on my show, actually. And then I was grateful when she said it. And then I was so grateful that I was able to make peace and amends with her. Her husband or her boyfriend, what was his
Husband.
name? Husband, Mike
Wait.
or whatever? Mike.
Wait.
The
She
guy,
she had a husband that was a doctor in Barrie.
No, this guy was the sponsor of your show, her show, Mike.
Mike Egan.
Yeah.
That's
He and
not a
I almost got
boyfriend.
in a fist fight.
Yeah, wasn't her boyfriend.
Oh.
No, just friend.
Oh, okay. But he and I almost got in a fist fight
Oh, I didn't know that.
over her. And I went over to him. I said, "Sir, it's up to you," but I wouldn't do it. I said, "Just to let you know, she and I made peace with each other." I said, "But if you want to fight when he was afraid of me because I have the spiritual gift that I love it, Gary, when these people think because you do psychic readings like I do and all that, if we don't do things their way, they could. No, folks, I cannot put a spell on Gary if he just. Maybe I could try, but I don't think it would work, But I cannot go around putting spells on people or like that.
No, because that is
That's
profoundly
deviltry.
evil.
Yeah, and I will
That's
not do
satanic.
that. Yeah. Can I make people feel uncomfortable if they're not telling me the truth? Absolutely. So can't you.
Yeah. Well, actually, no, because I often don't know.
Really? Oh.
I am one of the least observant people that you'll ever, except for that Colin Van Ostrin.
Oh,
I
yeah.
saw him in the hall. Bob was on the show after me. Well, he was walking down the hall, and you know how you shake hands with somebody and you look eye to eye? I'm shaking hands with him. He's looking through me. What does that mean? I'm beneath him.
Yeah.
I was too far beneath him to actually connect. So.
You know. By the way, folks, if you want to go out to breakfast with Gary and I, you're more than welcome to. This is a running joke with Gary and I. Poor Gary was sitting there, and she took my bill. I didn't pay for it, but Gary had to. My daughter-in-law had to, too.
Oh, she did?
Yeah.
Oh, that's great. Yeah, going out to breakfast with Norm is fun because you sit there, you order whatever, and they come over. The lady comes over, says, "Oh, Norm, don't worry about it." Looks at me, says, "Come on, let's go."
This is true.
True, absolutely true.
Next time we'll go to the Purple Finch because she works there.
Oh, she does? She works over there now?
Yeah, I'll make sure you get yours free.
Which one's the Purple Finch? Is that
over
the one
in Bedford?
Yeah. Oh yeah, I went there.
Oh God.
With my wife and son and the two grandsons.
Is that when you made your wife pay for it?
Yes, absolutely. It was expensive.
And you made your grandson wash the floors?
Yes, and do dishes.
Yeah. But they are tremendous. In fact, she works there now. If you have never been, I don't usually, but if you want a good breakfast or lunch, go to the Purple Finch. They are really excellent, and the service is great.
Yeah, it seemed pretty nice. I remember going there. It was a while ago.
I'm sitting over there if you want. Oh, you can come. Your co-host has arrived.
Oh, my co-host.
Yeah.
Who is it? I can't see past the light, so.
Very short window of opportunity.
Oh, you want to come join us for a few minutes?
Sure, come on over. Sure. How much time
we get 10 minutes.
Yeah, 10 minutes, okay.
Tell them what you're doing. Tell them.
Come right in there and tell me who you are and what political view. Sure, no problem.
I don't know if you are you in the frame?
Gary?
No.
No?
Here, go over here.
That's okay. Our illustrious engineer will make adjustments. I have little doubt. I have every
There it is,
confidence.
see?
Do you?
He wrote the name Lens, you know.
Tell him what you
That's
did.
his prerogative. Gary, hello.
Yeah, I like that
Organization Day for you
We'll
up
talk
at
about that in a
the
minute.
New Hampshire Legislature.
No,
Norm,
no,
good to see you.
What are you doing?
I'll get to it. But I'm in a big hurry right now. I love Gary's enthusiasm, and here's why. Because
Impatient.
not everybody gets to do the thing I'm about to go do, and I consider it a great blessing from above. As you know, I'm a filmmaker and an actor, and I'm involved in the arts, have done for generations, really. But for the first time ever, and here it is, midlife, age 55, I get to say that in L.A. County, a film festival is featuring my very first feature film, with me at the helm, of course, as the director and an associate producer. I've been an actor for a long time, been in lots of films and lots of film festivals, even picked up a few awards here and there, mini Oscars. They're fun to wave around. You know, impressionable people get impressed. But this is the real deal. This is an A-tier film festival, and there's lots of festivals all over the place. Everybody wants their little corner of prestige from one city to the next, and it's good for them that they do that, and they give new artists like myself, working on my 30-year long overnight success,
But it happened.
the opportunity to be seen and have their work be seen and get out there into the world. And sometimes lightning strikes. Blair Witch Project, great example, completely different genre from the film I did. My project was a 5-year-long odyssey. Building a skyscraper takes time if you don't have a ton of dough. You need one or the other, hopefully both, but in our case, we needed the time. So in this instance, finally in 2018, after a tour of duty in the legislature,
Right.
with my illustrious compatriot here, Gary Hopper.
Don't give him a big head.
Oh, that's okay. He fit through the door still.
Okay.
And so I got into the cul-de-sac of politics. I'm still very involved and interested in civic life and public policy. Always will be. But my passion is telling stories, and my passion is giving people content that they can grow from, that gives them the chance to reflect. And not to aggrandize my work, a lot of people who tell stories do it because they want to sincerely portray something.
It didn't happen overnight.
Oh, well, heavens, I've been doing theater for decades,
Yeah.
2 generations, since the 80s. Before, actually.
Yeah, but
So
tell him. Hey, wait. So we were talking about this before you got here, is how God works out the timing for us. Sometimes we don't understand why we took this turn or that turn. We just did.
True.
And
True.
it was the same thing with you. You put 5 years into it, but what's the subject matter of the show, the movie?
Well, yeah, I believe the Great Spirit works in mysterious ways, and we have to trust that Spirit and align ourselves as best we can with it, and just follow our passions as best we can while paying the bills, and not hurting anybody in the process. But this particular film, it's about someone hurting someone, and that person who identifies as a victim transcending that sense of identity as perpetual victim. This is a woman overcoming the scars of childhood abuse. The lead actor is an actress. She's from Andover, Mass., my original hometown, so I'm proud of that. Yay, Andover. Her name is Becky Dennis. Within the last 2 years, she's emigrated to La La Land. She lives in North Hollywood and is legit building a career out there, but she's been working on the stuff in the Boston area for years. So Spin the Plate, the name of the film, and the novel upon which it's based, which won a bunch of awards in women's literature in its own right, is about this woman overcoming these scars of serial, ongoing, profound childhood abuse,
I've seen it on
sexual
Lifetime.
abuse. You might, but it's
No,
got.
no, I believe it's going to be on Lifetime.
Well, okay,
okay.
you're foreseeing it.
Yeah.
I hope so, but if it is, then there's going to be a lot of bleeps because there's a few F-bombs and there's some pretty gritty, raw content.
Actually, the way that things are on TV now.
Well, on
But
Lifetime,
I actually see in another 2 years,
it belongs there.
no, my prediction will be you will be on.
It
will be
belongs
on
there
Lifetime.
because it tells
and you're going to
the
win
truth.
some kind of an award.
Wow.
We've run a few.
Well,
won a few.
thank you for that.
Yeah, and this is a major award.
Thank you for that.
Yeah, that's going to make him high above. He won't even know you went on.
Oh, no.
No,
believe me.
no. I'm going to be his pool boy.
Yeah, we've already worked this out.
Already
His
worked
apparently.
porno?
Pool boy.
Oh, pool boy.
Yeah.
The thing
Oh,
is, like I told you before on the show, that I have a lot of physical problems.
yeah.
All of them are relative to allergies. You know, the one place I don't have allergies?
It's in the pool.
Next to the ocean.
Wow.
If you get a sea breeze, I'm not sick all the time. I don't have to take a bunch of medication. It's always destroying me. He's going to get a place next to the ocean.
I'll get
and
some
then I'm
ocean
gonna be his
frontage in
pool-
Marina Del Rey, and apparently.
And I'm going to be
there's
his
I want
pool
that
boy.
place.
Yeah, that's how it's going to go down.
I'll even
Norm,
lose weight to make it look like it's not
Community-
as bad.
There you go. Yeah, there you go. From Norm's Community Corner,
Right.
Norm's Psychic World,
Mm-hmm.
Norm and Lori Fred, my highest compliment to you, sir.
Thank you.
When you win that award, I'm still going to be on the. I want you to come and display it on my show.
Oh, I'd be happy to. I don't know what it will be. To me, the award, the greatest award of all, and I will tell you this, and we've been in several film festivals, won awards from a number of them. We've got a lot of those laurel leaf emblems on our poster now because of that. And posters right here. We've seen it on these cameras before on Gary's show. I'll leave you with a copy.
Oh, awesome.
This is the poster for Spin the Plate. I'll hold it up. If our ambitious engineer would like to pull in on this, you're certainly free to do that. Spin the Plate is online as a trailer,
put
a
this on my
3-minute trailer.
Facebook page?
You certainly can.
Okay.
And you can find it on Vimeo, Vimeo. VIM as in Mary, EO.com. And just run a search for Spin the Plate trailer. And
See-
you will see the 3-minute trailer that talks about this film that's going to be featured at Hello, Upside Down,
Yeah.
at the Culver City Film Festival this weekend.
See, Gary, once again, this is the reason why the other people couldn't come on. Gary and I were just talking about that, right?
And his
I
guest-
was
his-
alone.
His guest failed.
Was unable to make it. So,
Right.
yeah.
I was alone for an hour, and I sounded like I was on a rambling road, you know. And then Gary came on, and see how the spirit works?
Because that's what we're talking about, is how forgiveness is the key to be removing the status of victim from you.
Yes, that's exactly
Until
right.
you can forgive, it's just this weight that holds you down.
That's a prevailing theme in this.
Do you have a child?
I have 3.
3?
Yes.
Why do I see them joining you in California?
I don't foresee that because they're in their young adulthood. One's a teenager and in California with his mom, and I don't foresee that happening on this particular journey. But
Do you have a
perhaps in
daughter?
the future, I have 2 daughters. Yes.
I'm telling you now,
He's telling you.
If I am wrong, the Spirit will take
I
everything
would
away.
be absolutely shocked. I would
I am
consider
telling
it,
you now, I see it happening.
I would consider
One of them is
consider
going to
it
be
a
an
miracle.
actress.
Oh, yeah, one is.
Okay.
Yeah.
She's going to say, Dad, I should have listened to you a long time ago.
Well, that would
Open
be.
your heart up to it.
I will. That'll be a glorious day. I miss her, and she's cooler, smarter. She's heard me say this before, but I mean it. She's cooler and smarter, and I dare say wiser than I will ever be. And I couldn't be more of a
Don't
proud
even
dad.
don't put yourself down that way.
Yeah. Well, I'm putting them
Don't
up.
put yourself down that way.
I see them as young
Right.
goddesses, and
Yeah, I
I'm
know, it's my job.
proud of them.
That's right. Me
Right.
too. Yeah.
So,
Well, I
so the
was so-
tagline of the film, I just want to say this
Just
out
turn
loud
them
because
on,
the
okay.
camera may not be able to read that. It's
Yeah.
there's the life you're born into, and then there's the one you create,
Right.
and that says
I
it.
am so excited about this. You two have made my show a success.
Your show's always a
Today.
success, Norm.
Yeah, but I mean, rambling on by myself, I couldn't have handled that for 2 hours. I mean, I can talk a lot, don't get me wrong. I make a great lawyer. The judge would say, in order to shut him up, we're going to find him not guilty.
Yeah, sure.
Well, I am definitely going to run for state rep.
You should. I'll help you.
Okay.
It's an honorable thing to do.
Yeah, yeah.
It's an honorable
I
thing to
also will tell you, you got a new play coming out.
do. Well,
Stop
I am
holding
doing a
yourself
drag
back.
show on New Year's Eve in Nashua, my first, so that ought to be
You
interesting.
give me a drag queen?
Oh, sure. Yeah. for
All
that.
right.
Yeah.
You do?
Well, if Dustin Hoffman can play Tootsie,
Oh, I'd love
and
that
Robin
movie.
Williams can play Mrs. Doubtfire.
Why can't you
didn't
play-
English actors
Okay.
all do female parts?
Robin Williams isn't English.
No. In,
No,
in
he did his
England,
own.
in
That's what
England
Austin did
years
too.
ago.
Well, 400 years ago, yeah, women
they-
were not allowed on stage.
No.
right.
Well, I want to thank you both for coming on, and thank you, Gary, for filling in my gap. It was my pleasure and honor. You too, Eric, right?
Yes.
Oh, I got it right, Gary.
You did.
Lori would have been proud of me.
I'm
But
proud of you.
I want to thank you for coming on and giving us an exciting new. Now I want to see all the prosperity from it. I want to feel all the energy of all the blessing. And when you get that award, I want you to either Facebook it to Gary or me so we
Sure.
can put it up high if you're in California.
Sure.
One of the things that I want you to understand is to let go of yesterday.
That's powerful. Thank you.
In order for you to grow more, you've got to let go. We talked about that. You've got to let go. Now, one thing I always want you to remember and put a sign in your mirror. I am a winner. When you go in your bathroom and you have a full-length mirror and you're a little singing-dong and waving in the wind, just look up and say, I am a winner. Always remember, you are.
May I paraphrase it and call it and have it say, "I have already won"?
There you go. And keep on being a winner. There you go. Because you have.
I
It is
know.
an honor, sir.
This is a
What if I
these are
amend this?
blessings.
Can I make a motion to amend?
Sure.
Motion heard. Do I have a second?
Second.
Okay. Motion carries.
God only makes winners.
There you go.
God don't make no junk.
Right.
Yeah.
I learned that a long time ago. That when I
Well,
left
the
that
thing
church.
is, it's true. God only makes winners. It's it's ourself that tears that.
Oh, we gotta go. See you next week, folks. Bye
Thanks for joining
bye.
us.